General Assembly adopts resolution demanding immediate ceasefire. Polls close after 3-day presidential vote. Salam Malaysia Madani, I'm Brenda Lepal. This is World Today. The United Nations UN General Assembly adopted a draft resolution on Tuesday demanding an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. The non-binding resolution presented by Egypt with the support of nearly 100 countries passed with 153 votes in favor as the 193-member General Assembly gathered for an emergency special session on Palestine.
Signify
10 countries, including the United States, Israel and Austria, voted against the resolution, while 23 countries, including the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy and Ukraine, abstained from voting. In addition to demanding a ceasefire, the resolution expressed grave concern over the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip and the suffering of Palestinian civilians. It also emphasized that the Palestinian and Israeli civilian populations must be protected following international humanitarian law, while demanding all parties to comply with their obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law, notably concerning the protection of civilians.
This draft resolution demands an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. Let me repeat, demands. The language of demands, it has the power of implementation. It does not call for or urges, it demands. And we will not rest until we see compliance of Israel with this demand from the General Assembly so that we can see a ceasefire in place.
In October, the General Assembly voted in favor of a draft resolution calling for an immediate, durable and sustained humanitarian truce, leading to a cessation of hostilities, with 121 countries in favor and 14 countries against, including the US and 44 abstaining. UN General Assembly resolutions are not legally binding, but they carry political weight. Polling closed on Tuesday in Egypt after a 3-day election, widely expected to return sitting President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to power in the Arab world's most populous country. Government newspaper Al-Ahram reported that the National Elections Authority, which is responsible for organizing the poll, recorded an unprecedented turnout. Polling station closed their doors at 9 p.m. 1900 GMT and the results will be announced on Monday. Sisi is expected to win by a landslide despite Egypt being gripped by various crises, including the Israel-Hamas war in neighboring Gaza and the country's worst ever economic crisis. The former army chief is running against 3 relative unknowns: Farid Zahran, leader of the left-leaning Egyptian Social Democratic Party; Abdel Sanad Yamama from the WAFD, a century-old but relatively marginal party; and Hazim Omar from the Republican People's Party. For most Egyptians who have had their savings slashed in an unrelenting economic crisis that started early last year, the cost of living is their top priority. Annual inflation currently stands at 38.5%, with the import-dependent economy suffering severe foreign currency shortages after the Egyptian pound lost half its value in a year. This election would secure Sisi's third and, according to the constitution, final term in office. Ecuador said it won't negotiate with gangs after gunmen mistakenly killed a baby and 3 children. Police suspected that the hitmen belonging to Mafia 18 went to the wrong house. A police spokesman said at a press conference that 3 children were killed during the attack, 3, 5 and 7 years old, and an infant just 5 months old. Their parents were injured and the mothers hospitalized in critical condition. Police believe that the perpetrators of the attack were targeting a neighbor's house, which was later found to contain explosives and is linked to a criminal gang. Guayaquil, as the coastal city trapped by violence is called, has been placed in the ranking of the most insecure cities on the planet. Several members of a Los Lobos group are implicated in the assassination of presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio. The fight against the insecurity imposed by organized crime is the main challenge of the centrist president. At least 23 people were killed in a suicide bombing at a Pakistan army base on Tuesday, an official said, in an attack claimed by insurgents affiliated with the Pakistani Taliban. The early morning attack targeted a base in Dera Ismail Khan district of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, near the Afghan border, according to a local official who spoke on condition of anonymity. The Pakistani military on Tuesday buried 23 of its soldiers who were killed when a six-man suicide squad drove an explosive-laden truck into a military camp in northwest Pakistan. The gun and bomb attack, which was claimed by an insurgent group, comes as political watchers have already voiced concerns about holding the vote, scheduled for 8 February, amid a surge in attacks in the northwest and southwest. The attack occurred in the remote district of Dera Ismail Khan, on the edge of lawless tribal regions bordering Afghanistan, the army said in a statement, adding all 6 attackers were killed in an ensuing battle. A U.S. citizen accused of trying to stab his girlfriend and a taxi driver in Brazil's northeastern city of Salvador jumped to his death from a hotel room on Tuesday while police attempted to arrest him. The American was accused of other crimes in March this year and had stayed at the hotel with false documents, making it difficult to locate him. Police officer Mariana Ware told local media the suspect, whose full name was not disclosed, had jumped out of the window after police knocked on his room door to make him comply with his arrest warrant. According to police, the stabbings took place on Sunday in an upscale part of Salvador. The American had cut his hair in an attempt to disguise his identity. Police had obtained an arrest warrant for the crimes of attempted murder and femicide. Spain recorded Tuesday its highest temperature ever for a December, after the southern city of Malaga saw thermometers reach 29.9 degrees Celsius, according to IMET National Weather Service. Now, the heat, which follows several days of warm air currents across the Iberian Peninsula, surpassed the previous December record from 2010, when a temperature of 29.4 degrees was recorded in Granada, also in the southern Andalusia region. Temperatures across Spain smashed records for December as a mass of hot air swept over the Iberian Peninsula on Tuesday, pushing the mercury close to 30 degrees Celsius in the south and delaying the start of the ski season. While the Northern Hemisphere gears up for the arrival of winter, Spaniards' hopes of a white Christmas are waning after a summer with 4 heat waves amidst the hottest year on record. Despite being accustomed to hot summer months, Spaniards in recent years have seen a growing number of intense heat waves in other seasons, raising alarm among many scientists. According to IMET, the frequency of heat waves has tripled in the country over the past 10 years, and the summer weather season has increased by 10 days per decade since 1980s. China's C919 arrives in Hong Kong in maiden flights outside the mainland. Stay with us. 2 Chinese-made passenger jetliners landed in Hong Kong on Tuesday, marking a significant milestone in the nation's efforts to break into the Western-dominated aircraft market. The C919 is a twin-engine aircraft that is seen by Beijing as a challenger to foreign models like Boeing 737 MAX and the Airbus A320. The Chinese-manufactured C919 jet arrived in Hong Kong on Tuesday in the Chinese-made plane's first foray outside of mainland China, as its manufacturer prepares to take on Airbus and Boeing in the market for single-aisle commercial aircraft. The C919 is due to perform a flypast over the city's scenic Victoria Harbour on Saturday, giving people on the waterfront a glimpse of the new aircraft, weather permitting. As a precaution, the government has restricted the flying of drones and remote control planes, kits and releases of balloons. An official welcoming ceremony is planned for Wednesday at the airport. The C919 and another Chinese-made aircraft, an ARJ-21, will be on display at Hong Kong's International Airport until Sunday. And in other news, Argentina's Economy Minister Luis Caputo announced Tuesday the devaluation of the peso by over 50% to the dollar as the new government seeks to tackle the country's deep economic woes. He also announced a reduction in the state's generous subsidies of fuel and transport without stating the exact amount. In a pre-recorded video message, Caputo took pains to explain to Argentines the cause of their decades of recurrent economic crisis, debt, inflation and fiscal deficits. He compared the country's chronic addiction to spending more than it earns to a household budget and said the country had posted a fiscal deficit for 113 of the past 123 years. Year-on-year inflation is currently at 140%, with new figures to be announced Wednesday. Caputo said the new government of President Javier Milei had inherited a fiscal deficit of more than 5.5 points of gross domestic product. Other spending cuts he announced include the suspension of all state advertising for a year, which he had said had cost 34 billion pesos in 2023. In addition, he said infrastructure projects would be carried out by the private sector in future. Another measure would be cancelling the renewal of public jobs contracts that were less than a year old. Milei has already slashed 9 government ministries, which Caputo said would cut 34% of all political jobs. JDT and ACL campaign on a high note. Stay with us.
Perlawanan bola sepak Liga Super 2023 memburu dominasi di puncak Liga. Perjuangan terus diledakkan dalam setiap pertembungan. Sabtu 16 Disember, Johor Darul Takzim bertemu Penang FC 5 petang di saluran OK dan saluran sukan RTM. Saksikan juga secara penstriman langsung di RTM Klik.
Welcome back. Newly crowned Malaysia Cup champion Johor Darul Takzim JDT ended the Asian Champions League ACL Group I campaign on a high note by routing BG Pathum United from Thailand 4-1 at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium last night. The win saw JDT finish third in the group with 9 points behind group leaders Kawasaki Frontale, followed by Ulsan Hyundai, while BG Pathum United finished at the bottom of the group. Despite what the scoreline reflects, it was BG Pathum United who took the lead after dominating the early exchanges when Igor Sergeyev struck in the 28th minute to put coach Esteban Solari's team under pressure until the end of the first half. The start of the second half was, however, a totally new ballgame as the visitors were reduced to 10 men when Damilo Alves was given a straight red for handling the ball inside the box and Bergson da Silva stepped up to score the equalizer in the 55th minute. The loss of a man proved a costly affair for BG Pathum when Bergson was again on target in the 66th minute, while Hendrik Dos Santos made it 3-1 in the 86th minute. JDT's young sensation Arif Aiman kept a fine night for JDT with the fourth goal in the final minutes of the match. Meanwhile, JDT head coach Esteban Solari admitted that his side started slow in the first half before finding back their rhythm after the break.
So second half, we came with the double effort, everybody. I want to congratulate the players because it wasn't easy after the final to get this energy. And second half, everybody ran double, everybody commit double, and we play, and then we scored the goals. I'm so happy for the team because, like you said, beat twice a big team like BG, and with 4 goals in each game, it means that the players did a great job, and I'm proud of them.
The 10 group winners and 6 best placed runner-up teams move into the last 16 knockout stage. The Southern Tigers would now close out the 2023 Super League season and continue their unbeaten run. In European football, meanwhile, in the UEFA Champions League campaign, a much-changed and lackluster Arsenal were held 1-1 at Dutch league leaders PSV Eindhoven, a result that still sees the Gunners top Group B. The pressure was off as both sides had already secured their ticket to the last 16 and Arsenal in particular appeared to lack a competitive bite at the Philips Stadion. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta made 8 changes from the side that lost 1-0 to Aston Villa in the Premier League at the weekend. The London club took the lead just minutes before the break as striker Eddie Nketiah was given too much space in the box and fired a low shot into the corner. Scoring an impressive 52 goals in domestic competition, PSV have lost only once this season to Arsenal, who smashed them 4-0 at the Emirates Stadium in the reverse fixture. And they were back on level terms less than 5 minutes into the second half when another through ball dissected the Arsenal midfield and Vertessen killed his shot expertly past Ramsdale. While both sides continued to press gamely, neither would have been too disappointed with a dead rubber draw that sees them both into the hat for the last 16. In another match, Dani Ceballos scored with a minute remaining to keep Real Madrid's perfect record intact this season, winning 3-2 at Union Berlin. The 14-time Champions League winners were a class above the debutants in the opening stanza, bossing possession and field position despite coach Carlo Ancelotti making 5 pre-match changes. Real came into the match guaranteed for first place in their group. However, they fell behind just before halftime when Union striker Kevin Folland scored on the counter. Already eliminated from the Champions League, Union needed to win to keep their Europa League hopes alive, but conceded 2 Joselu goals in 10 minutes, silencing the Berlin Olympic Stadium crowd. Alex Kral gave the home side hope late, scoring Union's second just after coming on, but Real regained the lead moments later when Dani Ceballos' deflected shot dribbled into the net with 1 minute remaining. The loss means Union's first Champions League campaign in just their 4th season in the top division comes to an end with 2 draws and 4 defeats. And elsewhere, Manchester United crashed out as a 1-0 home defeat to Bayern Munich rounded off a miserable Champions League campaign for the Red Devils. Kingsley Coman scored the only goal for the Bundesliga champions who had long since secured their place in the last 16 to leave United without even the consolation of dropping into the Europa League. An embarrassing early exit from Europe's elite competition increases the pressure on manager Erik ten Hag, with United also languishing in 6th in the Premier League. The damage to United's Champions League hopes was done long before the arrival of Bayern, when they failed to win 3 of their 4 games against Copenhagen and Galatasaray. It is just the 4th time that an English side had finished bottom of their Champions League group. A troubled season for Ten Hag reached a new low on Saturday when Bournemouth won for the first time at Old Trafford with an ease in a 3-0 victory. Bayern remained unbeaten in the Champions League group stages since 2017 and extended a competition record of 9 consecutive away wins at this stage of the competition. Karim Benzema's Al Ittihad secured progress from the first round of the Club World Cup with a convincing 3-0 win against Auckland City on Tuesday. Backed by a full house at home in Jeddah, Saudi Pro League champions Al Ittihad made short work of New Zealand's Auckland City, winners of the OFC Champions League. Brazilian Romarinho. Manchester City's fears that Erling Haaland could miss the Club World Cup later this month have been eased after Pep Guardiola revealed the Norwegian striker will return to training on Thursday. Haaland picked up a foot injury during a 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa last week that forced him to miss Sunday's 2-1 win at Luton. The attacker has not travelled with the City squad for a Champions League match at Red Star Belgrade on Wednesday, with the holders already assured of their place in the last 16.
No, he will be back, I think, Thursday, day after tomorrow, and we see how does he feel.
City hosts Crystal Palace in the Premier League on Saturday before jetting out to Saudi Arabia to play in the Club World Cup for the first time. Haaland has scored 19 goals in 20 appearances in the Premier League and Champions League this season. City will face either Mexican side Club Leon or Japan's Urawa Red Diamonds in the Club World Cup semi-finals on 19 December, with the final taking place in Jeddah on 22nd December. Former Italy and Juventus defender Giorgio Chiellini has decided to retire from professional football at the age of 39. Chiellini is currently playing for Major League Soccer MLS club Los Angeles FC this season. He captained Italy to the Euro 2020 title after they beat England on penalties in the final at Wembley. The centre-back played 117 times for the Azzurri. He spent most of his club career at Juventus, helping them win 9 Serie A titles, 5 Coppa Italia trophies, and 5 domestic Super Cups. Chiellini was a UEFA Champions League runner-up twice. And in hockey, India made a dramatic comeback to beat the Netherlands 4-3 to earn their slot in the semi-finals of the Men's Hockey Junior World Cup JWC at the National Hockey Stadium in Bukit Jalil on Tuesday. Captain Marvel Uttam Singh scored the winner as India fought back to edge European champions the Netherlands 4-3 to reach the semi-finals of the Junior World Cup JWC at the National Hockey Stadium in Bukit Jalil. The Netherlands took a healthy 2-0 lead and many felt it was the end of India. However, the men in blue battled back with Uttam delivering a stunning winner. India scored through Arjun Lalaka, Arayjit Singh, Anand Kushwaha and Uttam. Timo Berge, Hayden Vander and Oliver Hortensius netted for the Dutch side. India will play Germany, who defeated defending champions Argentina 2-1 in an earlier quarter-final match in the semi-finals on Thursday. Germany ousted defending champions Argentina 2-1 in a tightly contested quarter-final battle to move a step closer towards the dream of claiming a record 7 Men's Hockey Junior World Cup JWC at the National Hockey Stadium in Bukit Jalil on Tuesday. With the win, Germany, who set up a semi-final clash against India on Thursday, ensured an emotional revenge for their 4-2 defeat against the world number 1 Argentina in the 2021 Bhubaneswar edition's final. Though the weather was cool during the cloudy morning, the heat on the pitch was intense as the match started with Germany and Argentina launching a series of attacks. From one such attack, Germany, the world number 2, managed to break Argentina's defense with Hugo von Mongola's shot, whizzing straight between the legs of stopper Joaquin Ruiz in the 32nd minute. 7 minutes later, Jakob Brilla converted a penalty corner to double the lead for the tournament's most successful team. However, Argentina managed to narrow the gap with Agustin Bonano's 48-minute field goal. Argentina's chief tactician, Juan Gilardi, then launched a power play in the last 6 minutes to increase pressure up front with the hope of changing their fortune. But the Germans managed to escape with a narrow victory.
Siren amaran awal banjir ialah sistem pengesan kenaikan aras air secara automatik. Sistem ini dilengkapi dengan pembesar suara akustik, sistem pemantauan bersepadu dan menggunakan sistem solar sepenuhnya. Selain itu, ia juga berupaya memberi arahan daripada Pusat Kawalan Program Ramalan dan Amaran Banjir Negara ke stesen siren dengan kaedah voice activation. Keupayaan bunyi siren ini boleh menjangkaui 1 hingga 2 kilometer bergantung kepada keadaan topografi setempat. Terdapat 2 jenis siren. Pertama, bunyi siren amaran.
Amaran. Air sungai telah melebihi aras amaran.
Semboyannya kedengaran apabila air sungai melepasi aras amaran dan penduduk diminta bersiap sedia untuk berpindah. Kedua, bunyi siren bahaya.
Bahaya. Air sungai telah melebihi aras bahaya.
Ia diaktifkan setelah air sungai melepasi aras bahaya dan penduduk diminta untuk berpindah serta-merta. Sistem siren amaran awal banjir memberi manfaat kepada masyarakat bersiap siaga menghadapi bencana banjir.
Rakyat Malaysia memang hebat kerana tegas pertahankan hak Palestin. Memang kita jauh dari dunia Arab. Kita jauh dari dunia Palestin. Kita jauh dari Gaza. Tetapi setiap detik berlaku menyentuh hati nurani kita. Kerana apa? Kerana kita tahu dan faham arti manusiawi, arti ihsan, arti kemanusiaan, dan lebih penting arti keadilan melawan kezaliman Israel.
And that's it from us this afternoon. In our top story, General Assembly adopts resolution demanding immediate ceasefire. Malaysia Tonight comes on at 8:30 p.m. this evening on TV1 and MyTV's Berita RTM news channel. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Brendan Nepal. Thanks for watching.